you hate a guy until they wear your laundry, and then you love them, and you can forgive their sins of the past.
What's going on, guys? My name is Dillard, again for the Yankee Way podcast. I am here with my co-host, Mr. John. How are you doing, my good sir?
Considering, for anybody out there who just witnessed the game in which Chapman decided he didn't want to pitch or couldn't throw a strike, basically, the wall won't recover, but I will be okay, and I will get over it, I think, until the next time he has to come pitch, and then I'm going to freak out again. But I'm okay, I think. I don't know. I may have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, this team is making us really, really stressed out lately, to say the least.
Suddenly stressed. But
I
think it's good to have stressful games.
Mm-hmm. But the good thing is, though, like you said, it is good to have stressful games. It's good to just have baseball back in general. And I mean, I'm not, even though some of these games have been stressful, like this latest one against the Blue Jays.
Every game has been stressful.
Yeah.
Every single game has been stressful. Every single game has either been a save situation or we've lost by, at the most, 3 runs. Like, we haven't had a blowout yet, which is kind of incredible. Seeing the scores in the league, I'm impressed that we haven't had a double-digit score thrown up against us yet. Or we haven't thrown one up yet, either.
So there's a lot to talk about, obviously, because we haven't done a podcast in a week. Obviously, the Yankees won the series against the Red Sox 2-1, and then they ended up splitting the series with the Blue Jays 2-2. So right now, the Yankees are 4-3. 4-3. I got that right. I'm doing my math correctly. And then they are tied with the Rays and the Blue Jays for first. The Red Sox are 3-3, right behind everyone, and then the Orioles are 1-5 because the Orioles got swept by the Rays.
Because
and
they're already eliminated from the playoffs.
Mathematically, 0% chance
eliminated
of making the World Series, if I'm not mistaken.
As soon as the lockout ended, eliminated.
But yeah, there's a lot to talk about with all these series. There's a lot to talk about with the offense, a lot to talk about with the pitching staff, not just the rotation, but also the bullpen too. Even the defense, if you want to talk about that a little bit. Just give me some thoughts initially, right now, what you think about the Yankees from the last games that you've seen this week since Friday.
I thought the starting pitching has been pretty solid. It's really funny that if you think about it, like the least consistent starter we've had has been Cole, which is really funny because that's the one guy I didn't have to worry about. Because I'm like thinking to myself, like, okay, who am I worried about in this lineup? Well, Severino hasn't started a game since 2019, and Tyone had surgery, and Montgomery, he's coming back from surgery a year ago. Is that real? And Nestor Cortez, is he going to be okay? And the one guy that we've had to worry about has been Garrett Cole. Although, to be fair, I think he got a bad shake against the Blue Jays the other day. I mean, everybody wants to scream at the end of the world. He gives up 2 home runs to Vlad. I mean, look, Vlad's a great hitter. I'm sorry. But it's just like, if you can hold them to 3 runs, you should probably win that game. But that's just me. Thought the defense has been pretty good. I've been feeling good about it. My favorite part about tonight's game was Giancarlo, who catches a sac fly and throws a missile to home and saves a run there. I thought that was great. And then there's been like some good plays and then some not so good plays. You know what I mean? Like, seems like it's coming a lot from the left side of the infield. And that one awful double play by Torres just sinks my heart. But other than those plays, I mean, I've been watching the catchers. Higashioka and Trevino have been putting on a clinic behind the plate. It's been so much fun to watch. And so nice that we get these calls now. It's just incredible. And that's basically where I'm at. The hitting is a little sluggish, except for Anthony Rizzo. I expect the Judge to hit at least 3 home runs by now, but everyone's getting there. We'll see what happens against the Orioles, I guess.
Well, the good thing with Judge is that he especially from this Blue Jays series, he's starting to heat up a lot more. I think he'll really get it going once the Orioles series starts. That's kind of my prediction with the whole thing, is he's going to heat up at that point. So
he's making solid contact. He's a lot like Gallo. He's just making solid contact, but he just, it's warning track power. He's got to hit the gym, I think, is his problem. I don't know, man. Everyone's pitching him knowingly very careful. They're being extremely careful with him. But the way our lineup is constructed, the better Rizzo hits, the better pitches he's going to see. So I'm hopeful that coming soon, we're going to see him get some really good pitches, especially if he can stay ahead in the count.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, Rizzo's been killing it. I wanted to mention that.
Killing it.
3 home runs, 1.086 OPS, 199 WRC plus. I mean, he's been killing it. He's been awesome.
Been doing it with a long ball and the not so long ball.
Mm-hmm.
And also with the glove, too. It's been great. Except for tonight, he had an error. But it's okay. We got out of it. And although it jacked up Sevy's pitch count a little bit. But still, he's been amazing with the glove. Very happy to see it. I mean, it's funny going back a couple of weeks ago when Rizzo gets signed and everyone's like, oh my God, we didn't get Matt Olson. Oh my God, this it's terrible. I hate it and all that stuff. But like, so far, he's probably been the most consistent batter we've had, and it's been pretty damn good on defense as well. A massive upgrade from Voit.
Mm-hmm.
Although I love Voit, but still, it's amazing when you get something you haven't had, and you get it, and you're just like, how have we lived without this? It's incredible.
It feels like it's such a relief that you can finally trust a first baseman who can scoop all these crazy balls in the dirt and not let the ball go right past them into the dugout.
Yeah, it's great. I don't have, I feel like Miguel Andujar would be a good third baseman for us right now. Just saying, he could bounce that ball and Rizzo would find a way to grab it.
No, he'd end up double clutching or triple clutching. He wouldn't get him out anyways. He wouldn't throw the ball in time.
Possibly. But I feel really good about our defense still, despite the shortcomings of some errant throws and some dropped clutches from Torres, Kiner-Falefa, and Donaldson. But overall, I think in the aggregate, it's been good so far, and it's been incredible. Donaldson had a great play tonight, saved a run. I mean, just been incredible to watch. I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, every game has been stressful, but I'm not complaining with a 4-3 start to the season. I mean, I don't think anyone should be massively complaining. I understand if people are frustrated about the offense, because I think at this point, really no one's concerned with the pitching staff, let alone the bullpen. I mean, do you want to talk about the bullpen? The bullpen has been lights out, incredible. I mean,
unbelievable.
Clay Holmes,
top 3 in the majors right now.
Yeah, here's the stats for the bullpen. So, 0.7 F4, which is tied for first with the Rockies.
Incredible.
1.30 ERA, that's second. 3.06 FIP, which is sixth. 0.95 WHIP, which is fourth, and 3.05 Sierra, which is ninth. So all really, really good numbers from the bullpen. Loaizaga, Clay Holmes, Lucas Luque. I mean, there are so many names that you could come across. I've even been impressed with Miguel Castro. I do know that there was that one outing where he was kind of lost command at the beginning and walked a hitter, but that's kind of what you're going to get out of him as long as he can paint the strike zone. If he can paint the strike zone and find his command and lessen the walks, he's going to be awesome. He's going to be great. I'm not worried about him. He just has to command. That's all it is.
Not worried about it. Who is the person in this bullpen right now that you have the most fear of?
Right now, I didn't want to believe it. I thought he'd come back out after struggling in the 2021 season, the halfway mark or so, because he was amazing in the beginning of the 2021 season. Then the wheels fell off the wagon, and that would be Aroldis Chapman. Just from seeing tonight, it was just so weird.
Excluding tonight, he's been very good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the problem was tonight. I don't know. It could be a bunch of things. It could be lack of focus. It happens sometimes. You never know. But there isn't really anybody in this bullpen that really freaks me out. The only people that freak me out in this bullpen is Sears and Schmidt, because I don't know what they are yet, because I haven't seen them do anything. I mean, I'm waiting to see them do something, and I've just got nothing.
I think by process of elimination, it probably has to be Chapman, because I feel like everybody tears their hair out every time Chapman comes out to pitch in the ninth, even if we have a
look how stupid this bullpen is. I posted this on Twitter the other night against the Blue Jays. The Yankees recorded the top 31 fastest pitches of the game. It was the game against Yusei Kikuchi.
Mm-hmm.
And usually on Savant, they've got the top 5 pitches thrown, and you're okay, it's pretty cool when you see all Yankees in the top 5. We had the top 5 through 31,
mm-hmm.
and then Kikuchi was there because he overthrew a fastball at 97. and you just had names like Clay Holmes, like Loizaga, Chapman. Yeah, I think was that Garrett Cole's start? I don't remember. Or was that Tyone? I don't remember.
Here,
But it was like
let me look up that real quick just to verify.
I have the
No,
picture.
that was Nestor Cortez. Nestor Cortez was against Kikuchi.
Oh, okay,
That's
Nestor
where-
Cortez.
yeah.
I have the picture up. Let me pull it up. It's just like the top 30. It's just disgusting. It's like Chapman is the top 5. Castro, Chapman, Castro. Loizaga, Holmes, Chapman, Loizaga, Castro, Holmes, Castro. And then it goes on for another 13 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You've got like you quite literally have 5 to 6 innings of people who do not throw anything less than 97 miles an hour,
Mm-hmm.
just sitting behind your starters. I mean, that's got to be the greatest cushion ever.
Mm-hmm.
And they throw nasty stuff too. They throw stuff that moves. Like I talked about this preseason, they have this mass exodus to sinker ball pitchers. Imagine if Zach Britton didn't get hurt. Can you imagine if Zach Britton is also in this bullpen?
Mm-hmm.
You have Zach Britton too. You have like a full game of sinker baller pitches.
You have a stable of arms, as Kevin Cash once put it. You have a stable of arms, quite
Yeah,
literally.
you have a stable of people who all throw 98 miles an hour. Tell me what you thought about Severino's start tonight against the Blue Jays. Like, I want to hear what you thought watching one of my favorite pitchers. Ever since we saw him come up in 15, they've been one of my favorite pitchers. But tell me what you thought about his start tonight.
I thought Sevy was great, honestly. I do think that there were some innings that could have been a little bit more economically advantaged towards
Yeah, the second
him.
inning was trash.
Because at that point in the second inning, he was up to like 50 pitches, if I'm not mistaken, 50 pitches.
The one thing about that inning before you go on, that inning sucked because the first thing, you end the bottom of the first with Rizzo hitting a screaming line drive with a 680 expected batting average, and it's caught by Vlad. And the very first batter is Alejandro Kirk with a swinging bunt with an expected batting average of 220, and he's on first base. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. It's just like the stupidest thing ever. All right, continue.
Well, I just thought Sevy was really good. I mean, despite having like over 50 pitches in the second inning, and you mentioned the error on Rizzo, which never happens. I'm not worried about that long term, obviously. It happens.
It was a little mistake.
But I think Sevy did a very good job and bounced back. And I think that the more that you stretch him out, he's just going to continue to get better. And once he finally gets to that point where he gets stretched out, where he's, topping at 90 to 100 pitches, 6 to 7 innings, and he can do that consistently, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be like 2017, those years all over again. Like, it's going to be prime Sevy days again, because I firmly believe
excited.
He can get back to that point. He is ridiculously talented. And one of the things that I really like about Sevy, and it's not just about his game and just how talented the pitcher is, it's also the energy and the emotion. Like, did you see like the loud like intensity and screaming that he was letting out after one of the strikeouts? He walked off the mound
after striking out Vlad for the third time.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Like, how many pitchers do you know are that passionate on the mound after striking out somebody like that? And you have to think just about how many problems that he's had. He's just had an issue staying healthy for so long. And it just means so much to him to be able to go out and pitch and not experience another injury like he's been dealing with for so long. So that's really the key. That's the only key with Sevy. It's not, is he good or can he be good? He is good. There is no if or when. He is just good. The only ifs and question marks are, can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, you don't have to worry about Sevy. You really don't. I feel that confident in him. Garrett Cole, I know a lot of people will have their pitchforks and their rioting, like, why we pay Garrett Cole all this money and we're overreacting when it's only 2 starts in the grand scheme of things. It's only a small sample size, so I don't really care about it. But, I mean, I got to talk about that Vlad Guerrero plate appearance, one of them. One of them I will give anybody who's complaining about Cole. It was a slider down in his wheelhouse, the middle of the plate. I understand. That was just a bad pitch. But the fastball, I think it was like 96 miles per hour, middle in, to try and jam Vlad Jr. in.
It was off
late
in.
He nails it 400 plus feet.
He beat him to the corner. Like, what are you doing? Like, how?
Like, that's not even Garrett Cole's fault. That's not Garrett's fault. He made a good pitch. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is just one of the few hitters who can turn on a fastball middle in like that, get jammed in, and turn it 400 feet. There's not too many guys that can do that. That's what Garrett Cole said after the game. He's like, sometimes if you had a hat, you tip it too. Like, he literally said that. If you had
He
a
literally
hat, you
tipped his
tip it
hat to
too.
him, yeah.
So it's like, you can't get mad at Garrett Cole when he made his pitch. He did everything right. Just, you got to give credit to Vlad Jr. He's an incredibly talented hitter, and he's very exciting. That's all there is to it. So
we pitched him in hard for 2 straight days, and then he said, "Okay, that's it. I'm gonna be looking inside for pitches." Obviously, he got a pitch on the inside corner, and he turned on it. That was the slider. I mean, that's what happens when you hit a slider that's hung. You at the bat, and there you go. The second fastball was incredible, and then the third one, the double, was just like, that's incredible. Like, I don't know how you did that. That's just him being a really good hitter. But Severino dominated him tonight. The first pitcher to ever strike him out 3 times in a game, which was incredible. I'm looking at Severino's pitch mix on the night. Threw 33 fastballs, 25 changeups, 19 cutters, and 6 sliders. The cutter is just like, I think this will come back down to earth, but he got a 71% swing percentage on his cutter tonight, which is unbelievable. I mean, for comparison purposes, Kevin Gossman's splitter got 59% swing percentage, and that's already one of the best pitches in the league in terms of swing percentage. And his cutter had them all over the place. Like, they were not picking up that pitch. It's incredible. I hope that he continues to improve it, because it's going to be extremely nasty. My favorite part about the broadcast is the broadcast had no idea what to call these pitches. He's out there throwing 92-mile-an-hour sliders, and I'm like, that's not a slider. That's not a slider. He's not the Grom throwing 92-mile-an-hour sliders over there. Like, stop it. But it's incredible. He only threw 6 sliders tonight, but 19 cutters, and he had them all over the place.
And his changeup. One of his changeups is
gnarly.
It's disgusting. I mean, his changeup is honestly probably my favorite pitch, to be honest with you.
He only threw 33 fastballs. He threw 83 pitches. He only threw 33 fastballs. I mean, that is the textbook on how to pitch Toronto right now. Is you do not throw them fastballs. You show them the fastball. You go hard in, soft away. Or not so much hard in today, because they were trying to keep it away from Vlad. But they really put up a clinic in 2 of these games on how to pitch Toronto, which is just bust them up inside. And unfortunately, he missed once, and he drilled Gurriel, and everyone got mad, and some feelings got hurt. But saw Garrett Cole stalking around out there. He wanted to fight, man. He was out there. The Yankees are not a team you want to fight. They have a couple linebackers in their dugout. I don't know about that one.
So I actually wanted to ask you about that, because since we're talking about possibly the bullpens and the benches clearing, which they didn't, thankfully, it might brew over into the next series. Who knows? But I wanted to ask about Game 3, and what I want to ask you about specifically about Game 3 was when Aaron Hicks accidentally stepped on Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s hand when he was trying to stabilize himself because of the throw that Bo Bichette, he couldn't get a good grip or a good stand, or what am I trying to say? Not a good grip, but there was just like a weird play that Bo was trying to get to, and he couldn't stabilize himself, so he kind of threw it into the dirt. It bounced, and then Guerrero kind of stabilized himself to get the ball, and then Hicks
he put his hand on the ground so he didn't crash his face into the ground.
And then Vlad Guerrero Jr. ends up, having a 3 home run night in general.
Just pretty badly.
Yeah, just crazy. But I thought the craziest thing were people were actually thinking that Aaron Hicks did that intentionally. Like, how is that in any sort of
I have no idea how he
did
that intentionally.
So
it didn't happen fast enough for it to happen intentionally. I mean, when you're running down, he only has one. Like, when you're sprinting, there's no way to get out of there fast enough. He's trying to reach base. He's not trying to he's trying to beat a throw out. Like, I don't see how anybody thinks that was intentional. I mean, if anything, the only person who should be at fault there is Vlad for putting his hand in the base path. But it was clearly an accident. I don't understand how anybody can possibly. I don't know how anybody can have the reaction time, especially according to Yankee fans. Some guy who has no baseball ability and can't stay healthy, for him to purposely step on someone else's hand is incredible to me.
And that was actually, interestingly enough, that was the same game, which, I mean, I tweeted about, and I heard it for a fact at the beginning of the game, and I'm like, this doesn't really surprise me because it happens all the time, these really dumb and obnoxious chants. But I ended up hearing them saying something along the lines of, "We hate Canada," and such
Yeah, I
like
heard
that.
about that.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
didn't
like,
hear it.
I think the most ironic part about that, I'm like, you do realize there's a lot of Yankee fans
First
in
off,
Canada.
he's not from Canada.
And yeah, also, you're chanting at most players who aren't even from Canada in the first place. Like, I don't know.
What?
I just find a lot of irony in that.
Oh, he is from Canada. He was born in Canada. I figured he was born like in somewhere else.
No, I'm talking about Vladimir Guerrero. I'm just talking about like the team in general. Like the team in general is not from Canada in particularly, and then also just to say we hate Canada when there's literally there's literally Yankee fans in Canada. There's a lot of Yankee fans in Canada. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was really obnoxious. And here's another thing I wanted to mention real quick before you say anything.
What are you doing out there?
Before you say anything, I want to mention one more thing to you. There's another chant that went on that I also thought was really obnoxious.
It's your favorite chant.
It's the cheater chants with Springer. And here's what I think is ironic. The Yankees literally employ Marwin Gonzalez, who was on that 27 Astros team. Why? Like, I just find that so incredibly ironic. Like, do you people not even know your own roster? Do you know that Marwin Gonzalez is not on the team? Do you know that he was with the Houston Astros in 2017? Like, I don't know how many people know their lineups.
This is a bunch of people who would have taken Correa and would still go out there and be like, okay, let's go, let's get it, Correa, MVP baby, and then would still boo George Springer. And the thing is, you know, you hate a guy until they wear your laundry, and then you love them, and you can forgive their sins of the past. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's just the way things work, unfortunately. But incredibly ironic, a little hypocritical. Funny nonetheless, and let's be real though, Marwin Gonzalez is a utility player on this team. He isn't exactly receiving significant at-bats, and if he does receive significant at-bats, we have bigger problems to deal with.
So here's one thing I wanted to leave you off with, because I think we've hit quite a bit enough information for the podcast for as much as we can.
We've hit the YouTube 10 minutes.
No, we've hit actually like 20 minutes, more like it. Not 10, but 20. But
it's the old meme from YouTube. You got to go 10 minutes to get the ads. You know what I mean? The higher CP
okay, that's what you're talking about. Okay, I see.
Mm-hmm.
But with Hicks, I want to ask your opinion about Hicks, because Hicks on the timeline right now is the most hated player, easily the most hated player on the timeline. And I don't think people understand that he has a 979 OPS and a 175 WRC plus. I mean, he's one of the better hitters on the team right now. I'm sorry that he had one bad game against the Red Sox, where in multiple situations with runners in scoring position, he couldn't get it done. And I'm like, if you're frustrated with him over one game, that's fine. Like, you have that's fine. Like, you have that right to be upset.
We're frustrated with Chapman right now over one game. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Get over it.
You know, if you'll get over it eventually. And even there's days where people are, you know, you can be upset with Judge, you can be upset with Stanton, you can be upset with anybody if they just perform really bad.
They're all
upset with one of those days. But no, like, on a serious note though, there was one bad game, and then everybody wants to call for Hicks' head, and it's like Hicks has still been one of the better hitters in the league. That's the one thing I want to ask you, so keep that in your mind real quick. And then the second thing I want to ask you is about Joey Gallo, the fact that he's in like the top 5% for exit velocity, top 5% for hard hit percentage, and he's getting incredibly unlucky. His launch angle is like around 23 degrees, and I even had someone tell me on Twitter the other day that Gallo is not getting unlucky at all. It has something to do with his launch angle being out of whack. And I was like, his launch angle is literally 23 degrees, dude. That's literally a line drive. That's a screaming line drive.
Okay, here let me give some numbers here. I got my pen here. I got some numbers. He is literally in the first percentile in outs above average. He is like basically perfect, like 100th percentile in hard hit. Expected weighted on base average, he's almost the 100th percentile. He's 100th percentile in barrel percentage. Expected slugging percentage, he's 99th percentile. 95th percentile in walk percentage. Yankee fans' least favorite stat. I mean, he is a statistical marvel, and it's incredible. He is getting so unlucky. It is unbelievable. It's comical.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Like, what's his expected batting average right now? It's 310.
Mm-hmm.
His expected batting average is 310. His expected slugging percentage is 971.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a guy that he is hitting it directly at people and just has nothing to show for it. Like, it will come around. I promise you. He will find those hits. But it's just, I don't understand. What do you mean? He's bad launch angle. What are you talking about? That guy doesn't even know what like launch angle means.
Well, that's what I said. I was like, his launch angle is literally 23 degrees. Like, that's a line drive.
Probably didn't
Average is a
understand what
line
those numbers
drive.
mean.
So, yeah, that, and then, like you said, you mentioned all the stats: the hard hit percentage, the barrel percentage, the max exit velocity. I mean, all the stats point to Gallo is dealing with a lot of bad luck, like extremely bad luck. Like, eventually, like in baseball, it's not going to stay like that forever. His luck will eventually come his way, and once that happens, he is going to be the hottest hitter on the planet. He is going to be one of the best hitters when he starts getting lucky. That's usually how it is. His hot stretches are just insane. Like, he's crazy good offensively. And also, I know a lot of people are kind of upset because he hasn't played the best defense lately, with all the misplays and stuff like that. But it's so early in the season. He's such a good defender. That's not going to happen long term. I just don't believe it. I think Gallo's a lot better when people give credit for it. If here's the thing. If Gallo ends up getting to a point where he just does it for the whole season and it ends up being that his exit velocity and all that ends up dropping down, and there's solid proof that it's not just him getting unlucky, but he's also just not performing how he should be, then I'll give in and say, okay, maybe people were right. But as of right now, all the stats point to that he should be having expected numbers that are a lot higher than what his numbers are right now, and the stats also prove that he's been getting very unlucky. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm probably going to die on that hill.
I would personally love to re-sign him. I'd love to extend him, especially next year. If you think he's doing decently well this year, oh man, you just wait until Joey Gallo gets to play in a shiftless MLB. Oh my God, he's gonna go nuts in a shiftless MLB. He gets shifted on 95% of plate appearances. He is 5th in the league, who is right in front of Aaron Hicks, who is, funnily enough, 6th in the league in terms of shift percentage, which is a really, really weird stat to me. I don't know why are you guys shifting on Aaron Hicks that much? So weird.
But go ahead and actually talk about Aaron Hicks too, by the way, while we're at it, because I wanted you to keep that in your head. I wanted you to keep that in your head. So can you tell me kind of about Hicks and all the hate that Yankees Twitter has been giving him?
I don't understand it. If you want to be mad at someone, go be mad at like Josh Donaldson for kind of coming in a little slow and not playing ideal defense. Like, go be mad at Kyle Higashioka, who seems to have had a la Space Jam, the aliens, the Monstars have come down and have taken his secret stuff, and all of a sudden he can't play anymore. Or like Kiner Falefa, who this game had, by Yankee fan standards, just hit 3 home runs and a double. Oh wait, that happened against us the other night.
Mm-hmm.
They think that's what he did. I mean, like, just stuff like that. Like, go be mad at those people. Mm-hmm. Like, Aaron Hicks is doing okay. Mm-hmm. I get it. He missed 2 sac flies. Big deal. I don't think anybody else who's complaining about him could go hit a sac fly in the major leagues anyway. Mm-hmm. It'll be fine. Like, I have nothing else to say about it. It's just he plays solid defense, and then he'll be pretty good with the bat. He hit a home run. He hit a home run this season before Judge hit a home run this season, and everyone will tell you he's trash. Like, I don't get it. In my opinion, I think he's doing fine. I'm not expecting him to be Ralph Kiner out there, but just as long as he gets his at-bats and puts the ball in play and attempts to steal bases, I think he'll do fine.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Yankees Twitter. I feel like a lot of Yankees Twitter really paints him out to be this atrocious hitter when, since being with the Yankees, he's an above league average hitter.
I want to see his Statcast numbers right now.
So I don't know. I feel like he's starting to get he's getting the Stanton
He's
treatment a
really
lot.
taking walks.
I mean, that's kind of Hicks' game, though. I mean, he takes a lot of walks. That's why people have advocated for him being leadoff. I've mentioned that idea in the past, too, with switching with DJ LeMahieu, because everyone's like, oh, I want to give DJ LeMahieu more opportunities to, driving runners. Well, you do that. You put him in 3-hole, 4-spotter, or whatever, down in the lineup, so he gets more chances to drive runners, and that's the whole point of it. So
It looks to me like right now he's in the 78th percentile in walk percentage. He's in the 94th percentile in chase rate, which is that's good chase rate. Like, he doesn't chase. He seems to be missing the barrel a lot right now, so it will get better. Right now, he's not barreling up a lot of anything. I think he just needs playing time to get that down. So, I mean, we'll see if he can live as a platoon player, but I think he needs the Brett Gardner a couple at bats here and there, and I think he'll come around. 15% walk percent right now. That's pretty solid.
And I wanted to ask you one last thing before we go ahead and end it off. And that one last thing is, what do you think about the overall game today in general with Trevino and Falefa? Isn't it so weird? Isn't it so weird how out of all the hitters in the game, in the lineup, that did well, it was Trevino and Falefa, who Falefa ended up pulling out of his slump a little bit. 3 hits on the night. Really good game from him. I like what I saw from him.
Well, Falefa technically had 4 hits, if you consider the fact that one of them was 2 hits in 1.
Yeah. And then Trevino, obviously 2 bloop singles in the outfield, shallow outfield for, runs to get in IKF. And, I mean, it's just crazy how baseball is. It's so weird. It's so magical. I mean, you can have a night where Guerrero Jr. has 3 home runs, and then the next day, 4 strikeouts, can't do anything.
Golden sombrero.
And then there's one night where you're gonna have guys like Stanton and Judge just absolutely killing the lineup, your heavy hitters, and then you're gonna have the quote unquote black holes, which, to be fair, Falefa has been a black hole in the lineup, non-existent, but baseball sometimes has a way of being very magical and very unpredictable, and then your black holes ended up being all the run support you get in the game, basically. And you end up carrying your team. So
I have a theory about it. And my theory is the fact that them as an organization pitched to Connor Falefa because they're thinking to themselves like, okay, this is a free out right now. We know he's going to ground out. So here you go. We're just going to challenge you. And then Trevino gets treated like the backup catcher he is, and they're just like, oh, I'm not going to respect you. I'm just going to throw this fastball by you. Let's see you hit it, because I don't want to walk you, because the last thing I want to do is put someone on base for Josh Donaldson and Aaron Judge coming up with nobody out. Like, I'm good. I'll just throw you a pitch. You try to hit it. And to their credit, they hit it, and they did it. They put the ball in play. God, that was a really weird balk call. On Gossman. I mean, by the definition of the rule that I've been told, it is technically a balk. But I mean, if you're gonna call a balk there, call a balk on every one of his pitches. I mean, like, it's just so weird to me. But whatever, it didn't matter in the long term of things. But they did it. They were given pitches. I liked their approach. They tried not to get in the hole. They swung early. I mean, I loved seeing them just take rips at pitches early in the count. I'm like, oh baby. You can't get into an 0-2 hole on Gossman. You're just dead at that point, But I thought they did well. They did the job they were supposed to do. They got on base in front of the top of the lineup, and then the top of the lineup did nothing at all, to be fair. I mean, yikes. Although, to be fair, and overall, in my opinion, everyone can complain about the offense not doing anything. They've played a lot of pretty difficult pitchers to begin the season. I mean, you start the season against Eovaldi, who's always killed the Yankees, and then you play Tanner Houck, who's right-handed, Chris Sale, and you play Alek Manoah, who's incredible, and you play like Berrios, who was pretty solid, and then you play who was the other guy?
I mean, even Kikuchi with the Mariners had flashes of being pretty decent.
Was surprisingly keeping them off balance, despite the fact that they didn't hit a ball with less than 90 miles an hour of exit velocity until like the 3rd inning. There was one other pitcher though that really kind of gave us troubles. Pivetta really gave us troubles, but like, man, we've played some tough pitchers so far. I mean, this division is built on tough pitchers, and I think the offense will improve. Um, I just think the teams and the pitching in this division is stacked right now. I mean, that's what I was saying in the preseason. I'm like, all right, we're playing Evaldi. You got to run his pitch count up. You got to get to that bullpen because you're not going to win it off Evaldi. And they really want it off the bullpen, I think. I'm pretty sure they want it off the bullpen. I think they tied it on Evaldi. And then they want it off the pen, I think. But yeah, it was just... That's what I was saying in the beginning of the season. I'm sticking to it. You know, tough pitching everywhere.
We both said that. You know, before the opening day game was that
we even had to face Ryu.
We gotta try and get Evaldi out of the game as quick as possible. Work his pitch count and get to the Boston Red Sox bullpen because that's the best spot you can be in to put yourself in the
soft part of the soft shell crab that is the Red Sox.
And eventually, you know, when you're going head to head with the Yankees in extra innings with the bullpen, I'm not really surprised that the Yankees ended up.
You got to get to our starter. You can't get it off the pen. Good luck. That pen is too difficult.
So props to the Yankees. I mean, like you said, the offense will come. The one thing that kind of always came to mind, like immediately, was that it always seems like the Yankees, time and time again, every single year, start off very slow in the month of April offensively. I think it will progressively get better as time goes on, especially once it gets warmer and the balls are starting to fly out and such. Especially
a lot of morning track power so far.
Especially when we get to like May and then, you know, into actual summer, like June and July. This team will be fine, I think, offensively. Just give them a little bit of time. And at least the good thing is, even if you complain about the offense, this team is still winning games. I mean, the bullpen's been amazing. The starting pitching has done what they can do. I mean, even Montgomery, as much as he still continues to get unlucky and such, he still leaves them in the game, even though Garrett Cole hasn't been as good as people think he's been. He's still giving the Yankees...
Okay, honestly.
Yeah.
Who is he giving up home runs to? Rafael Devers hit an absolute high fastball into the right field seats. Fine. Guerrero Jr. hit a mistake. He should hit that.
Yeah.
Hicks almost caught it, for God's sakes. And then Guerrero hit a really good swing on the ball. That's it. Those are the only home runs he's given up. He'll be okay. He'll be fine. That's a really good lineup. I'm impressed we shut them out twice, honestly. I'm impressed.
I just think it's kind of funny how everyone expects Cole to be like 2018 Cole, and I'm like, that's probably never going to happen again. Like, I'm sorry. That's like probably the best season that he'll ever have. He was just so insane. Like, that's not realistic to expect that from him time and time again. I mean, that's a ridiculous season. What did he have? Like 326 strikeouts?
Right? Wasn't that the season that he had like a sub-1 whip and then like still lost to Justin Verlander to like get the Cy Young?
Yes, that was the exact same season.
That was the season that you and I were like, I think that Justin Verlander should get it because he pitched a no-hitter. That's the only thing he's got over Garrett Cole. And I was just like, yeah, that's probably the only reason he's going to win it.
Okay, so my statement was incorrect. 2018, 276 strikeouts. 2019 was the season that he had 326 strikeouts. But
that was the one where he... didn't he have like a 13 strikeout performance against the Rays in the playoffs and they still lost?
I'm not too sure about that, honestly. I don't want to be quoted and say something wrong about that. You probably could be right. But I just think it's really unrealistic to expect that type of performance when you're striking out that many people. Like, that's just absurd to me. I understand the Yankees paid him a lot, but I mean, I'm honestly fine with the type of season that he had in 2021, you know, or even 2020. I know 2020 was a shortened season, but if he can be like a sub 3 ERA, maybe like a little bit above, like 3.10, 3.20 or something like that, honestly, I'm fine. If he can stay healthy and stuff, which, you know, obviously he hasn't shown issues with that. I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm not worried about Garrett Cole. I'm not, because I think that he'll get better. He's one of those pitchers that's known for getting better as time goes on.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
So
I'm not worried about him. He cares so much about what he's doing. He'll figure it out. I have faith that he'll figure it out.
And like you said, like we talked about earlier, obviously the Guerrero Jr. home run, the slider, obviously that's going to be knocked out. And like you said, that could have been caught by Hicks. Hicks could have robbed that. And then the other two home runs, the other one with Vlad Guerrero Jr., which was a fastball middle end, 96 miles per hour. Vlad's just a good hitter. And then also Devers. I mean, Devers is just a good hitter too. So
yeah,
it's
that pitch is pretty good, and he just said, "No, thank you." He just, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Tip your cap.
Exactly.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Just tip your cap. I mean,
All right, guys, he did it to us. Now we got to go do it to them. You know what I mean? Like, you figure it out. You
if
you have an offense too.
If the only people that Cole is giving up home runs to are like the best hitters in the league, then I'm not gonna complain about this. I'm not worried about it.
No.
Like, they're just good hitters at the end of the day. That's all there is to it. Just
Who's his
respect
next start
Devers and respect Vlad Jr. They're good hitters. Period.
Who's his next start against? He's not going to pitch against Baltimore.
I can look that up for you real quick
Tampa Bay?
because I do not know that actually.
You know, while you look that up, it's very strange to me that we played the Red Sox to begin the year. We don't see them again until July.
That's a long time.
That's a really weird time frame, I thought, in my opinion. He plays the Tigers.
Yeah, he plays the Tigers against Eduardo Rodriguez. Nice.
That's what's lined up to be. I thought it was going to be like a Garrett Cole, Casey Mize lineup, but Erod's going to be an interesting one.
Our old buddy, our old friend Eduardo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
With the Red Sox.
Hopefully we find a way to get to him.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to shout out real quick before we go ahead and end this podcast? Anything that real quickly, like a minute to talk about, if you need to.
Did you see Lucas Litke throw a White Castle special to Raimel Tapia and absolutely undress him? That was possibly the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I saw that live, and I'm just like, oh my god, Pitching Ninja's got to see this real quick. You got to see this. And then he posts a tweet of it. I'm like, yes, thank you. My prayers have been answered.
Yeah,
White Castle special.
Lucas Litke is what you call the diamond in the rough. Like, just
he threw a pitch that started on the outside of the batter's box and hit the inside corner for a strike. And then at that point, he had no shot. It was just, oh my god, I love it. Like, even the guys that don't throw 97 are like Litke, and they come in and they're just like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna strike you out with this nasty, disgusting curveball. Have fun. Just incredible. That's why I have no fear in this bullpen right now.
All right, well, that's about it. I hope everyone that watched this continued towards the very end and enjoyed the podcast in general. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Click the bell notification so you don't miss a video. Like the video, and then comment down below on what we can do better, what you guys want us to talk about in the future, and we will see you guys later.